Hello, neighbor. This is the easiest interview I ever had to do. I just had to walk around the corner.
Yeah. You just had to you were in your house?
I was, yeah.
And then you left your house?
I left my house, which is a big deal. Leaving a house is a big, big deal. And I left the house and I walked half a block. I went out the front door. I could have gone out the alley, which would have been a little shorter, but I felt like I'd use the extra, sunshine,
bird song.
50 steps or so or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So can you please give our listeners a your life story, but make it like fictional, but one that isn't factually true, but like emotionally true.
All right. Emotionally true, but not factually true.
Yes,
okay.
yes,
All right.
Yes.
So, I was born and raised in Missouri, not Nebraska. I was in Missouri, which is sort of like Nebraska, but a little further south and a little bit warmer. So in this instance, my fictionalized character has a slightly warmer summer and slightly warmer winters. I was raised Protestant,
not
Catholic. And I do believe in God still, even though I don't. So then I left Missouri and went to Tokyo? No.
That's too far.
That's too far away. I went to Detroit, not Chicago.
Detroit feels real.
Yeah, exactly. It was real. Met RoboCop there. It was nice. Then I started doing folk music, not comedy, and I did that for a long, long time, and I still do folk music.
Ballads.
Not
long
ballads.
Verbal
ballads to this day. I don't do comedy. I am a folk singer. And then I met my wife in Chicago, Grace, not Kate. And then she got into a online university thing that's not a PhD program. And we moved to Hartford, Connecticut, not Boston, where she got her PhD. I mean, her online degree. And then she got hired here in Sheboygan, not Milwaukee, where she works as a butcher, not a college professor.
Yeah. So she cuts brains and serves them to the youth.
Yeah, also a zombie slayer at the same time. She's cuts brains intellectually, but then when the apocalypse comes, she's ready to cut them with also a machete.
Yeah. She has all the tools at the ready.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you are a comedian, not a folk singer.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're always on the hunt for things that are funny. What is one thing that has been cracking you up a lot lately that's kind of just stupid or minor?
Ooh, something stupid or minor that's been cracking me up lately. Is humanity minor? I mean, humanity's so weird, right? It's. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. How humanity's accomplished so much, right? If you think about crawling up from the goo that we eventually came out of the muck and over this very short amount of time in the history of the universe, how much we've been able to figure out, the fact that we figured out gravity and cells and just vaccines and going into outer space, we just the amount of stuff that we figured out that I don't understand any of that stuff works. I try to read this stuff and I have people will tell me how something works, and my eyes glazed over, and I'm like, I'm glad somebody knows how this works, because I sure as hell don't, right?
And now we will begin a conversation on cryptocurrencies.
Exactly. However, I think I sort of understand crypto a little bit more, and I'll tell you why. So, Mike, there's these books, like science books for babies that like I have a 6-year-old, but when he was a kid, we got this whole series of books about like different science, which I still don't understand, but cryptocurrency, I vaguely actually understand a little bit better how a blockchain works, which I didn't actually have any idea what a blockchain was before, about this like certain codes, and even now I'm starting to talk about it, and it's like I really don't know what it means. I understand how the chains connect of crypto. I don't understand why crypto exists, other than it's just like a scam for like rich people to like rob people. You know, it's like it's gambling, which is what, you know, capitalism is sort of based on, right? It's like all these rich jerks trying to like rob people, and it's a way for them to rob people and make people think that they're really getting something, when in reality it's nothing. Like there's zero going on with crypto, and it just takes a ton of water and energy to produce. But again, the flip side of the original part of this conversation was like how much humanity has accomplished in such a short amount of time, and how dumb and evil we are in so many other ways, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like we've done so much, but yet we're spending all this time and money on crypto right now, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, like the president has his own crypto now and stuff, and it's just like we don't feed everybody. People don't have, you know, healthcare. We don't have guaranteed housing, but we figured out this amazing, weird scientific crypto thing, and it's just like there's just something missing from humanity. Like at some point, like someone took humanity's soul and just like ripped it out, or put it up, you know, put it somewhere far away and locked it off. And a lot of people don't have access to it because like they spend their time just robbing people instead of actually figuring out a way. Because like we could feed everybody if we wanted to, we could house people. But yeah, just that's something that's just been on my head. It's just like the amount of stuff that we've accomplished, and yet the fact that we just don't even seem to have the will to do very simple things that could make everybody's lives better.
Yeah. So this is funny?
No, not really. No, it's really not funny at all. It's depressing. It's so weird because, like, okay, so I'm a comedian, but mostly I do political comedy, which is like really depressing. It's like it's so depressing, especially now. Like it's always pretty depressing.
How do you know when you're allowed to laugh?
Geez, you're allowed to laugh. I mean, because there's a lot of different types of laugh, right? There's recognition, but there's a catharsis, right? And so even if some of the stuff I talk about when I'm doing like political comedy and satire, there's a type of laugh where it's just like a recognition that we're all, at least half of us are in this horrible situation together, and the recognition of it can cause some laughter because it's like a release of just like you're not alone. And so when you look at the absurdities of a given horrible thing that's happening on a given day, which again, there's different stuff that happens every single day that gets worse and worse and worse as humanity slowly tumbles off, the I don't know, whatever. Climate change, everybody.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything. But anyway, like it's like there's all different types of laughs, and so yeah, when you're allowed to laugh, I guess it's like there's laugh to keep yourself from crying too, because it's like if something's so horrible, you can just kind of curl up in the ball, or you can kind of just like get a little swagger and say, well, I'm stuck, but at least, you know, I'm going to do the best I can.
Is laughter power?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you look at like, all right, so look at the monster who's president right now. The only thing that sort of seems to bug him is like people laughing at him. Like, you know, I'm not even a giant fan of like South Park, but like those, I don't know if you follow this, but like those South Park episodes really, really, really bugged him like a lot. Like he really hated that.
Because they made a character making fun of him.
Exactly. Yeah. And like they made him look foolish and weak and ugly, you know, and like that is power. You know, he busted his butt to try to get Stephen Colbert canceled, right, and get him his contract eliminated, because Colbert was making fun of him. So like that's the one thing that like he hates. And so yeah, absolutely, laughter is power. It is one of the things that, you know, from the humanity, like, in democracy and freedom has also evolved, and whatever you'd call what we have in the United States, not exactly freedom, but sort of freedom of speech ish going on here, even though every day, getting back to depressing land, it's getting less and less. But the power of laughter and the power, to not let people take that away from you is really, really important, because if you can't laugh, you're not really embracing reality either, because life is absurd too, and so laughing up the absurdities is how we survive, I think, in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think sometimes because I appear and I give off a lightheartedness and a whimsicality and a joy.
I know better.
Yeah. And people sometimes they ask me like, how dare you be lighthearted or happy when there's so much terrible stuff going on in the world? And it's like, no, you don't know. Like, I grew up miserable, just waiting to be an adult. Just couldn't wait for childhood to get over.
Yeah.
I was so unhappy about things. And I just knew if I could be an adult, I would be happy. And when you feel like everything is against you, the only thing that gives you a boost is being able to create your own happiness and joy in moments. And it's not like all the time, but like if you can laugh, that is a moment of freedom.
Yeah. Also, I when I was growing up in Missouri, aka Nebraska,
Right.
I was totally the same. Like I wanted to. I hated my childhood so much. I went to Catholic school and I just hated it. It was awful. I got a really, really bad education in Omaha Catholic school. It was awful. But so I was so ready to leave. Like when I was 18, I was gone, and I can kind of reflect now looking back at, I mean, Omaha's actually gotten a lot better over time. Like it's a mid-major city, which is like now mid-majors have like a lot of good food and they have craft breweries and they have a more active art scene. And it does now, but it certainly didn't have that when I was there growing up as a kid. But it's also like that the hopelessness and bleakness is what they want, and that's also how they win. Like taking away your hope and taking away joy is actually how they win. And so, man, at any moment that you have happiness, hold on to that, grab onto it and try to expand it, right? Because like that, that's what makes us everything worth living, right? Is the fact that we can experience joy and love and the other stuff too. But like, if they're trying to take that away from you and they're mad at you for being happy, those people are jerks.
Yeah,
jerks.
Yeah. Do you have an assignment for me?
I do have an assignment for you. Okay. So this is a creative assignment, right? Is what you were looking for. So, okay. As someone who does like political comedy and satire, this actually kind of feeds into what we were just talking about here.
Yeah.
So one of the kind of angles of doing satire and political comedy and something is to take something that's awful and then try to find some humor in it. Okay. So like there's a, overall, as human beings, it's good to be empathetic, right? That's something that you do want to strive for. Like when you want to try to, if someone's having a hard time and maybe even they're being less than great, it's good to try to, let's put myself in their shoes, see why they're this way. And that's overall a good thing. But there's sometimes it's not really good for comedy, right?
Yeah.
Or even necessarily creativity. And so what your assignment here is, I want you to take something bad in the world, something awful that makes you angry or sad or some type of negative emotion, and then I don't want you to be empathetic. I want you to try to figure out the dumbest reason that exists, the dumbest and the silliest reason that this horrible thing exists. So like, for example, all right, let's take vaccines right now, because that's in the news and stuff right now, right? So like they're in Florida, they're going to get rid of all vaccine requirements for kids, which is going to kill lots and lots and lots of people. So what would be
how dare you laugh at that?
Exactly, right? But it's like, why would someone want to do that? Why would someone, what is the reasoning behind their brains? Like, I want to get rid of vaccines. I don't think these kids should have vaccines. And it's like, if you're being empathetic, you're like, okay, maybe a doctor did something bad to them, or maybe they have a distrust for institutions. And some of this stuff is, so that's the empathetic thing. Is like,
no, they're just going to replace them with lobotomies.
Right. And big pharma sucks too, right? So like, it's like, yeah, you have a reason to not like big pharma, but why are you pro measles? Why are you pro rubella?
Yeah.
And so like, so an example would be like, oh, someone's into, it's not that they want they want people to get sick, but they want to bring back like they're into like craft diseases, like like people like listening to music on vinyl. They want some like farm to table rubella.
Yeah.
So that's my assignment. Think of a something bad, something that gives you an emotional reaction, and then try to think of why someone would support that in the dumbest and silliest way possible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first thing that occurs to me, like how bad does it have to be?
I mean,
like should it be? I mean, I tend to just think I have a different brain than you in that.
Sure.
Like I tend to zoom in on small time, low stakes,
That's
not
fine.
big picture stuff.
Yeah.
Like, something that makes me upset is just like the automatic toilets that flush on you.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Absolutely. So, okay, automatic toilets that flush on you, especially the ones that are really, really loud, right?
Yeah, and
like
spray you.
Yeah, you get like toilet water everywhere. Like that is like the grossest stuff, right?
Yes.
Unbelievable. I mean,
Yes.
like we don't even have bidets in the United States, right? I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so now so you have your
Yeah.
issue here, all right?
Yeah.
Your thing that makes you upset. So
Yeah.
then try to think, why would someone support that in the stupidest way possible, and the goofiest, stupidest way possible?
I think because the head of health doesn't believe people are cleaning themselves properly.
Right, and he doesn't
Yeah.
believe they're cleaning themselves properly, and he has even more things that he's going to do. Not even the self-flushing toilets. He's going to have like car washes that human beings have to walk through themselves.
Yes.
To
They're replacing self-flushing toilets with car washes.
Mhm, yeah,
You just sit down and go at it.
right. They have a car wash in the bathroom itself, but it's just for your lower extremities.
Right. And the water is recycled sewage.
Right.
But they don't have enough of it cleaned in time, so
Right. Yeah.
you
exactly.
never know what you're gonna get. Yeah.
It's like has like a blue tint to it too and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta work on this exercise at home later.
Yeah.
I'm not at the level you are yet, but
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's why it's
yeah.
an exercise, right?
yep. Yeah, exactly. That's right. Everyone has permission to do this exercise and do a bad job.
Mm-hmm,
Because
absolutely.
doing a bad job is better than not doing it at all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what animals out there do you think have a sense of humor?
Ooh, animals that have a sense of humor. All right, cats do not, but I guess they can be kind of cruel. I mean, cruelty has some kind of sense. Cats tend to be kind of cruel to me and kind of cold, but there are some cold people who are funny. Definitely like the ape kingdom. They're close to us, so they do laugh a lot. Hyenas laugh a lot. I don't know, like seals and sea lions, they seem to be having a pretty good time, like sitting on like that's like
They seem very playful.
they seem very playful and like just very much enjoying themselves, whatever emotion they're feeling. Like a while ago, Kate and I went to we were in Southern California, and we went to
Grace.
Grace, right, Grace, my wife, Grace, wink, and there's this place near San Diego called La Jolla, where there's this. It's a little town, but there's like the beach and the rocks. You can go and so there's seals and sea lions like all over the place, like actual. And so like literally. We're like a yard apart, right? You could go up and give a sea lion a hug if you wanted to. You shouldn't, because they're like dangerous wild animals, but they're so comfortable around humans. But you can just sit like literally where we are right now, and everywhere is just seals and sea lions just like swimming, flomping on rocks, and just like ar, 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 and just like making all this noise.
Wow.
They smell really, really bad. They smell awful because they're like
Describe the smell. Yes.
it's because they're like pooping on the rocks, and so there's also like poop everywhere, and they like have like fish carcasses and stuff. But
Fish carcass poop rock.
fish carcass, yeah, exactly, which is actually the name of my folk band. So
I didn't ask you that, but I was curious.
right, but yeah, they seem to be having a really good time, and like even when they they're screaming and hollering, but even when they're not happy, they're living their best life, I think. So they're just rah, 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 and it's they're pretty darn funny.
Yeah. Do you think any like single cell organisms or like spineless critters have a sense of humor? Or you just think they're out there surviving?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if an amoeba has a sense of humor or not, or a white blood cell, a red blood cell. Yeah, I don't know. I've never laughed at any of them before, but I've never really had much of a conversation with them before.
Yeah. So you're someone who's procreated. When your young was especially young, what was one of the first things that he did that indicated that he was developing a sense of humor?
Oh man, he's really like today now. I'll go back to the like today now. He's really into puns. He does jokes. He actually was doing he's making riddles now and stuff that rhyme. Like which is amazing. Like he's doing these like weird. He's doing like lately. He's been into riddles, and like that are based off of this video game Super Mario Odyssey, and he'll do these like riddles to try to give you which character he is, and he's trying to pretend to be.
Yeah.
His very first joke was there was this like song that my wife's side of the family about her dad. It's a very silly song. It's like goes Nana likes coffee but Grandpa likes tea, and then so he heard this and his grandparents would sing this to him, but then one time we were singing it to him and he clearly knew, and like Grandpa likes, and he went coffee, and he smiled. Then he knew he was saying the wrong thing.
Yeah,
and he was like, I don't know, I was like 1.5, and he
wow.
and he knew it was a joke.
Wow.
He also has really good timing. He understands how you stretch a laugh from like when you set up something and you let it sit for a second before you toss the punchline in. He's had that since he's a little kid, which is amazing to kind of watch this sort of like natural delivery. He already has a pretty good delivery.
Wow. Yeah. Do you have anything coming up our listeners should know about?
Ooh, okay. So monthly here in Milwaukee, I host Laughing Liberally Milwaukee, which is always on the second Saturday of the month, which is a left-wing stand-up comedy show that happens down at Comedy Sports. It has myself. I host and MC it, and then there's usually 4 other comedians who do stand-up, and there's an activist interview. Like this month we have Mark Rice from Wisdom, Wisconsin as our activist, where we have someone to talk about like the actual good work and not just telling jokes. But they also, another part of the show is sketches from a sketch group that I'm a part of called the Accountants of Homeland Security. And coming up on October 18th, I'm super excited about this. We're doing a full hour of sketch comedy at the Interchange. And the show is actually called Billionaires in Space. And it involves a lot of pre-tape video. They have a projector there. So we actually have pretty awesome interactions with like live actors interacting with things that are on video, with be it set pieces and characters on there. We have some really cool tricks that I'm pretty happy that we come up with. That I was telling you I was editing them before I came over here, and so
your editing skills astound me.
Oh, thanks.
And like I think or maybe I'm remembering that you have like Photoshop that's really old, but like is your like editing program like 20 years old or something?
So my video editing, no, I use a freeware called DaVinci Resolve. I do have literally a 20-year-old copy of Photoshop called like Photoshop 6.0 that I've had since like 20 computers ago.
Yeah.
That I have like just saved in a zip drive that I can just put in, and it still works. I use some other stuff too. I use GIMP, which is also like a free Photoshop alternative and stuff like that. But for some things, Photoshop is just the easiest. But it's like this literally like I don't know 25-year-old program that
I love that.
kept us on a zip drive and moved to computer because like Adobe's so expensive.
It is. I don't use Photoshop anymore for that reason, but I started in 2005, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm, so I would be able to use your program. Great. Right. So how about Catholicism? Yeah, you alluded to a Catholic childhood, and that's also what I had. So, what's the prognosis, Doc?
We're all alone. There is no God. That's the prognosis. No, I mean that is what I believe. I'm an atheist, but I was raised Catholic and went to Catholic school. What's funny is my wife is actually a theologian who's an active believer. This is we actually had a joint progressive Catholic / atheist wedding ceremony. Our ceremony began, "Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today before God."
Wow.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If not, there'll be booze and dancing later.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it didn't really start that way. That's just a joke.
Oh, but that's a good solution.
Yeah.
I know my family was upset that there wasn't any mention of God at my wedding. Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's our relationship's awesome. You know, like again, like the first. Like literally the first time we were talking with each other, we actually kind of debated the existence of God, but we were very respectful to each other.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm an atheist. Some atheists can be kind of jerks.
They sure can.
Yeah. And so I don't know. She's just the coolest person. But but growing up Catholic in Omaha, it was here's actually a true story. So I went to Catholic school, but our parish, which is called Holy Cross Parish in Omaha, Nebraska, Kansas City, Missouri, had one of the longest masses in this. It was like the hour 10, hour 15, and my mom really didn't like going to long masses, and so I promise you, I'm not making this up. My mom went around to different parishes around the city to find a mass that was shorter than the one that was 3 blocks from our house where I went to school, and she found it. I promise you, I'm not making this up. She found the shortest mass.
How long was it?
Hold on, look up.
Oh, sorry.
So she found it at St. Joseph's Hospital. The mass was 15 minutes long. And so every Sunday, my mom would take me and my sister to a hospital, past the sick and the dying, just so she wouldn't have to spend 50 extra minutes a week worshiping her God.
Wow.
And you wonder why, I don't believe, you know? It's just like, it's like this technicality thing, right?
I wonder about your mother, too.
Yeah, I mean, she's got stuff to do. She's a busy woman, you know? Like,
I love that. That's
Yeah.
so great. Yeah. Yeah. So, what is the most preposterous thing that's happening in the news right now of all the preposterous things? Is it the vaccines in Florida? Is it something else?
I think it's just the fact that probably the most preposterous thing is the fact that there seems to be no consequences for anything anymore, and the fact that nothing matters anymore. And I guess if you're a nihilist or something, it's like, oh, finally my worldview has come to life, you know.
Oh no.
but I think that's the most absurd thing, the fact that nothing seems to stick anymore. Reality is gone now.
Yeah.
There's no consensus anymore of just basic fact, and that is a bad thing for humanity. It's absurd, but it's probably the biggest thing, and it's ongoing, right?
That's a really good point.
Because if we can't agree on if we can't agree that 2 + 2 = 4, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and weirdly, in 30 seconds, this will be the end of the show. So I'm just on that beautiful note of what is anything anymore. I'm just gonna play the outro song just like that. Thank you for listening to Anja Not Anja Asks Anybody. That's not even the title of my show. This was Matthew Filipowicz. Did I say that right?
You did, yeah.
All right, bye.